Let's get into talking about my team. So this is the team that I used at Portland Regionals. I went 6-3. I had a stacked run. I used the Whim's Terracotta because some of my favorite Pokemon. I used the Flutter Chi-Yu, and I know on YouTube I was using Walking Wake over Iron Bundle. On my flight out there, I really thought about what Walking Wake was bringing to the team, and I realized I liked Iron Bundle more, and specifically it really just came down to I liked being able to lead more comfortably into Shenpao, right? And Bundle speed flutters. And that was it. And Bundle, to give Bundle his credit, bro hit like 15 Hydro Pumps in the tournament, didn't miss a single one. So Iron Bundle busted, and it takes like an iron will to like just be the Bundle player and see the Instant and just be like, you're done. You're done. Like, because they have their Instant, I have my Bundle and you have your Instant, and you're like, I eat this Hydro Pump, I'm EV'd for that. Pivot in that Chi-Yu, pop the Instant, their whole matchup falls apart, we win the games. So I think Bundle is very good. I will say going forward into Scarlet, Bundle's probably going to be the guy that gets cut. But you can't knock out my boy. Like, and also I just want to say this, bro. I used it's not even optimal. I used Iron Bundle the Unrivaled, bro. I did it. I used Iron Bundle the Unrivaled, the one with the mark. I put a Timidman on it and made it Ghost, but like it's not optimal because it has Best in attack, but I fucking did it, bro. And I hit every single Hydro Pump, and my Iron Bundle, I'm Iron Bundle's strongest soldier. We're gonna talk about it when we get into the games. Diego, thank you so much for 5 subs, helping us get to Charlotte Regionals. Funding for the regional, yo, I appreciate it. We need it. We need all the help we can get going to Charlotte, because like these things cost a lot of money. If I can get the sub goal for Charlotte out of the way, that would make playing the game a lot easier, not have to worry, about like the monetary sacrifice I take going to these regionals, because it takes like, 6-7 days to go to them. I'm not streaming, I'm not coaching, I'm not doing my work that I would do at home. So thank you guys for all the support. This is what it looks like when you play at a regional, right? You set your Switch down, and it's on a little dock. I get my fight stick, got my Haxorus plush, I'm waiting for my round 1 opponent to get there, got my notebook ready, super like ready to go. So this is what like an average regional like setup looks like, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I take a bunch of little selfies. So I heard fight stick buttons before, yeah, so it's how it works. So my round 1, I take the W. We're going up round 1 against like Blood Moon, Ursaluna, Walking Wake, Torkoal, Hands, Crest, Lilligant, Hard Trick Room, Lilycole in round 1. Keep killing it at these tourneys, bro. I'm rooting for you strong. Love watching you battle and break down scenarios. I just want to say, for everyone that wanted me to get on stream, we know why I haven't been on stream, by the way. Right? We know why I haven't been on stream, and I'll get to that in our story. But we know why now. There's a reason why I haven't been on stream, which we'll get to in just a little bit. That being said, my first round, Ursaluna, Walking Wake, Torkoal, Hands, like Iron Hands, Cresselia, Lilligant. Hard TR, Lilycole, probably not the thing you would like to fight in the first round of a tournament, unless you're a professional Pokemon player, that's +1. I'm rocking Imprison Indeedee. I'm rocking like Terrakion, Whimsicott. So the cool thing about Terrakion, Whimsicott is it conditions opponent to like over-respect your beat-up play. And so, like, if they have something that can chunk it out, like our defensive terror that can chunk it out, they're going to be going for those things. I think Imprison Indeedee is still really good. So what I did in game 1 is they opened up Hands Crest, so they can just go, like, fake out Trick Room. I opened up Indeedee. I opened up Indeedee Chi-Yu. And there's a reason why I like Indeedee Chi-Yu into that, because if I go Imprison and I go Heat Wave, your Hands has Fire Terror. If it doesn't want to Fire Terror, cool, it takes like 60% of its health. If it does Fire Terror, that's a resource. And what you're going to do is you're not going to Trick Room. You're just going to go Helping Hands Drain Punch into the Chi-Yu. And that's fine. I'm using a Fire Terror Chi-Yu. I'm not Ghost Terra. I'm basically trading my Chi-Yu for the guaranteed Imprison up, right? I want you to actually, I think the right play in that situation is to Fire Terror your Hands and start hitting the Indeedee. Because after 3 hits on Indeedee, it goes down, and then you actually can Trick Room. But they go after the Chi-Yu, which is incorrect. And then after that, I just bring out my Flutter. And then now, I have the Imprison up. But now I can just click Follow Me and just go, like, Shadow Ball, Shadow Ball, Shadow Ball, Shadow Ball, and I win the game. So that's what happened in game 1. When you flowchart take notes, do you write down the mons you lead and bring? Most of the time, yeah, I usually do. Because that way, I can look back and see, like, how I handled the matchup in, like, previous tournaments and stuff like that. So you actually have, like, the... You have the whole match, right? And in the second game, they lead Torkoal Lilligant. I lead the same thing. Follow me, Heat Wave. It's over in like 3 turns, right? So you basically, you control the first game so much that you trigger the Lilligant response, and then you just pin the Lilligant like really, really hard. That being said, the person was still pretty new to VGC, but had a great team. Like, Hard TR is still really, really good, but it's one that my team is like very, very well equipped to handle. So, like, I was really happy to get that win. Like, getting the first round win at a regional is so important for your tiebreakers. It basically means when you're in like a 6-3 or 5-4 situation, and there is a bubble where some people will get points and some people won't, you most likely will get points if you win your first couple rounds, because on average, your tiebreakers will be way better because the other people you're playing throughout the tournament are stronger players. So very, very important to get those early wins, and I'm very happy to win round 1. Round 2, I always like taking pictures of my match slips when I win. It's hard to explain, but like when I take the picture of the match slip, I hold on to it. I can remember the name, I have the picture, and it makes it mean something, you know? It's something that I can look at this picture of this match slip and still like feel the energy from when I won. You know, so especially when I beat like a player that like, or a really, really rough match, it like it fills me with like a surge of memories from all of it. And so it's like I get to keep the match slip. You know, it's like I won. I deserved this. I earned this. I get to keep it. It's like a memento. So I always like to do that. I know it's kind of weird, but that's just, it helps me remember the matches too, and it's good for documenting these things. But I always do it. So my round 2 opponent had Specs Chiyu, Grass Ogerpon, which has actually been pretty popular lately. I don't know if you've been seeing people use it. They had another Hands. I fought 2 Iron Hands in a row. And then they had Alola Ninetales, Lando Eye, and then Iron Bundle. So we're going into an Iron Bundle mirror, right? And in game 1, they go Lando and... What is it? Lando and... What is it? Is it Hands? Yeah, Lando and Hands. And I just roll them over with Flutter Chiyu. And in game 2, they go Alola Ninetales, Ogerpon, and I lead Wims Terrakion, and I just take it, you know? It's like in the match ball when you're player of the main, when you're player of the match or soccer. Yeah, so like I earn these wins. This whole set, remember I said their team was Specs Chiyu, Ogre Grass for like the speed boost and stuff like that, and Defiant, Hands, Alola Ninetales, Lando Eye, the special attacker, and Bundle. And it really did come down to the fact that their Bundle didn't have Icy Wind. He was like Ice Terra Booster, but it was like Blizzard, Freeze Dry because it's a Hail team, Hydro Pump, Protect. So we didn't have Icy Wind, so this team didn't have that great of speed control. So like I'm using Wims, I have a Scarf Chiyu. You see like Scarf Chiyu beats Specs, Terrakion Wims let me outspeed everything. No Icy Wind, yeah. So it really did come down to like, in both games, I just led really aggressively, saved my Bundle for like the back, traded 1 for 1, brought up my Bundle, Icy Wind, and let my other Mon just take it out. So it makes sense, like why I have it, and I think you should have Icy Wind, but like I see what they were trying to do. They're trying to like outvalue, and you just can't outvalue a Chiyu if I protect it correctly. So we won that one. It's funny though, like in that round, I sat down and like right next to me to my left, Alberto Lara sits down, and like right next to me on my right, like Nails sits down. I don't know if you know who those 2 players are, but like I dodged a bullet. I got the no Icy Wind Bundle guy, and I almost got paired into like Alberto or Nails. So how fast is my Chiyu? I'm full speed. But yeah, so I was like, ugh. But we got it. We take those all the way to the bank. So that's our round 2. Yeah, they had Bundle. And this is just a picture from the rounds. You know, this is just what, you know, like when you're waiting in between rounds. So I won pretty fast. And so I had like a 30-minute break going into like the next round. You just kind of have to wait and like deal with your thoughts. Some people like to walk around. There's not really enough time to get food. We didn't get a lunch break at this regional. But, you know, just what it is. Going into round 3. Round 3, I'm fighting NJ11. I don't know if you guys know who this is. Navjeet is a person who got top 16 here. He played on stream like 3 times. He's the guy that builds with Joe. And for those of you guys that remember, he's the guy that eliminated me in my winning in the last Portland Regionals. He also top cut that event, right? Like, oh my gosh, he's so freaking good. And so like I was thinking to myself like, okay, if you guys remember what I said, my whole plan was to go 6-3. this is the level of player where my team doesn't work anymore, right? It just doesn't work. It's not made to take games off someone of his level. Now, that being said, I could have built a team that would, like, take games off someone of his level, and we could play it evenly, and I'd still probably lose because he's so good. But, you know, my team's made to beat those players that I beat in the first couple rounds. Like, we got to be this tall to ride. Navjeet is definitely this tall. So it's like, my team doesn't really work against teams like his. But he had Lando I, in Sin, a Sash Flutter, which was so hard to deal with for me, Fairy Terra AV, Heavy Slam Metagross, Rillaboom, no, sorry, not Rillaboom, oh, Raging Bolt, sorry, and then Ogre Pawn, Water Pawn. So, like, he's so good, and I'm not going to say he's, like, my kryptonite, but, like, he's just the level of player that, like, my team doesn't really work against, and I ended up losing this one. So I lose this one. I did my best. I had outs. What I really did like, though, in our set here was, like, I lost game 1, and instead of going into a game 2 that I would normally go into to, like, for that sort of matchup, I went with something that was a little bit more aggressive, and it did technically work, but he brought the perfect mons in the back to check it. So he knew what he was he knew the response he was triggering from me. So it's like, even though I think I made all the right plays, the matchup was just still controlled by him, and there wasn't that much I could do about it. Feels like there's always one person where their philosophy directly challenges your own. Well, that's the thing, is like, my team's not made to, like, beat him. It's not. Like, and so when I build teams, like, for this tournament, it's made to beat, like, XYZ teams, XYZ meta, XYZ level of player, and he's just the exception to that rule. Like, you can go 7-2 and make day 2, if you wanted to make day 2, and he's one of those losses. You just take the L. Break the wrist, walk away, you know. But, you know, that being said, I didn't give up. I played to my outs. It just wasn't enough. Terracotta doesn't do anything against Metagross. Like, they're just like, holy shit, it's Metagross, you know, and you're just sad. That being said, great player, great person. He gave me some good advice on what I could change, and he was just really kind, and I really appreciated talking to him in between rounds. So, these are some of the usage stats for Pokemon on day 1. So, like, Flutter and Sin are at the top. You know, you've seen a lot of, like, Prio spam with, like, Shenpao. Water Pawn's one of the best redirectors. That's Urshi Water right there. We're not rivals. I'm not on his level. I gotta take a game first, bro. What can you change? Are you going over that? Maybe. Because, like, I might use... it's hard to explain. I don't know if I want to go over what I can change, because, like, if I give that away, I don't actually want people using what... I'm not trying to, like, hide information, but I know the team that I want to bring to Charlotte is something I would not want to play against. And I don't want to even put the idea out there that's what it is. Still waiting on a reply from my event. What if... Oh, if you have from your event, like... Yeah, it's weird, right? I believe it. And Gambits, they're the ones that hosted the PC on day 1. So we're gonna be reviewing some VODs and stuff there. Let's give them a shout out. They host tournaments and stuff like that. If you're actually in the Portland area, control. Let me do this. Let me try and shout out here. Shout out. Right there. Haha. So go drop a follow on their channel. They will be reviewing a game that I played on their stream. Something weird happened at the tournament. Gambits, I did talk to one of my big judge buddies. Well, we'll talk about it later. Doesn't matter. Online events coming up soon. Japan qualifiers were announced. I don't think we should play in the Japan qualifiers if you're not a part of their circuit. That's my opinion. Are we able to watch any games from the tournament? We're gonna be reviewing some of my games from the Premier Challenge tomorrow. Anyways, this was Top Cut teams, or sorry, day 1 usage teams. So we're going into the next round, and the next round, I'm going to be going up against Enrique, right? And Enrique, I don't know if you guys know who this is. I'm pretty sure he, like, made, like, day 2 Worlds, like, a couple years ago. Egrim, he plays in, like, a lot of, like, online tours. Really, really good, right? Right? It would be fun if they showed conversion rates for day 2 in Top Cut. They actually did. They did that. Gilmore's nowhere. But, yeah. Yeah, Players' Cup. That's what it was. Yeah, so he's really good, bro. He is so good. I did not want to give this match slip. I did not want to give it. This is my match slip. I won. You see, I got bodied in game 1. His team was Steel Torn with, like, Sunny Day and Cloak. It was Steel Wide Lens Tatsu. It was Grass, Unaware Dozo, right? It was Specs Flutter, Water Terra Mungus, and Water Terra Insyn, right? Really, really solid. It's the most solid Dozo, I think. Like, it's big Dozo. We're going to talk about some Iron Crown in a little bit, but yeah, like, this team was like one of the most solid Dozo teams. So game 1, I lead Flutter Chi Yu. I have a good matchup into the Dozo if you can pin the Dozo. And I was looking at this board like, I don't care if you lead with your Flutter. I don't care if you lead Torn. I don't care if you lead in Sin. What I do against Dozo is you ruinate the Dozo, right? And you Specs Moonblast it, and it dies. So, like, Ruination Chi Yu is good. It's so good. So, he leads Flutter Dozo, and I'm like, this is fine. If I Fairy Tear my Flutter, I don't die, and Chi Yu doesn't die. And what he did is he hit me with the Glue Eater lead, and he just pivots out the freaking Flutter for Tatsu, and just Earthquakes. And, sorry, that's not what he did. He did the opposite of that one. Yeah, he protected the Dozo, did that, and then he did that on turn 2, and I was just sad. Anyways, I lost game 1. I got EQ'd in the face, and yeah, it was bad, but that was game 1, right? And so I was just like, fuck, man. Like, I hate the Dozo's all 50-50s, because like I could double into the Flutter. I do that same play. I could go like Ruinate, Moonblast into Flutter, read the Dozo Protect, and then just Ruinate, Moonblast the Dozo. But if any of them protects and it gets weird, like, I hate it. It's such a 50-50, right? Dozo is terrible. So I lost game 1, and in game 2, he leads Dozo Torn. And I'm trying to remember what I did. I used Bundle in that game. I went Bundle and Whims. Yeah, Bundle's the play into Dozo. That's one of the reasons why I liked it over Wake. It's so good. And so like I ended up grinding out game 2, bro. Ended up grinding out game 2, right? And it came down to my Flutter main versus Dozo, Tatsu, and their Insyn. And my Flutter main 1v3'd their whole team. Because the Dozo, like, I ended up KOing the Dozo. Tatsu can't attack that turn. They bring out Insyn. I KO the Insyn, because they can't do anything. They Muddy Water me with the Tatsu. They high roll it, put me within range for a second Muddy Water, and get the Accuracy drop. But then I hit the last Moonblast, and I KO the Tatsu. Like, oh. And so, like, I could tell, like, he was, like, out of 50-50 things. And so, in game 3, he leads Flutter Torn, right? And I couldn't believe I won that second game, by the way. It's so hard. He leads Flutter Torn, and I lead Flutter Indeedee, which is another line I have into Dozo. And so, what he does is he clicks Sunny Day, and because I see the board, I see no Dozo, so I'm like, okay, you're probably going like Insinamungus here, and so I just go Fairy Terra and I pop his Flutter. He thought he was gonna go Sunny Day, and he's like, I live their Flutter in every single situation. My Flutter's way faster, as I'm timid. I pivoted in my Chi Yu that turn, right? So he set the Sunny Day. I pivoted in my Chi Yu and I popped him with a Moonblast. And I got it, bro. I got it. You know, we take those all the way to the bank. That's what we like to see. And yeah, the Chi Yu pivot in is so good on my team. Like, I like it so much. The Chi Yu pivot, like, people just don't expect it. They understand that I'm timid Flutter midway through the set. And then they're like, I outlive Modest Flutter. I outlive, like, Booster Flutter. And then the Chi Yu pivot just, like, gives you so much more damage. And so I ended up getting the win, right? And so this makes me 3-1 with, like, my only loss is the NJ11, who ends up going to make, like, top cut in the whole tournament. And I do like Ruination on Chi Yu. Ruination's very good. So I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling 3-1. I just fought, like, a really, really high-level player back-to-back. 2 high-level players back-to-back. And, you know, like, yeah, so I made this tweet, like, last round 3 to NJ11, bounced back around 4th, one of the most clutch mental games I've ever played in my life. Like, I had to not throw hard. I didn't have to make reads. I didn't have to, like, outplay. I had to just really, really not throw. I had to make the very, very safe play every single turn. So, Very, very happy I won that game at least. So I'm 3-1. And remember how I said, like, we figured out why I haven't been on stream? You know, I've had decent enough records to be on stream in the past, like, 4 or 5 regionals I've gone to. And that's because I have a Switch Lite. The game that I'm going to be talking about in the next one was potentially in, like, talks. I talked to someone else about it being on stream. And it ended up getting denied because I have a Switch Lite and they can't stream the Switch Lite. So I'll just bring my regular Switch to to any other future events. But I'm going up against Neil. I'm going up against Neil VGC, and this was on talks to be like a stream game, even though we were both X1. And it just ended up not even making like the cut of like the 4 rounds that could have had it. Just because like they're like, oh, Switch Lite? No, just throw it. It doesn't work. But yeah, me versus Neil. And for those guys that know, Neil and me have played at a couple locals. Neil's obviously like another really, really good YouTuber, World's Day 2 player, like cracked player. And he's had my number the past couple times that we played. Very similar to NJ11. Like, my team's not supposed to work on players that are this good. It's not supposed to. They don't fall for like the trap that this team gets people into and getting sucked into my tempo. They take the game at their tempo and they realize like, bro, like Iron Bundle gets killed by everything. So does your Flutter's way too aggressive. It gets killed by everything. Your Chi-Yu Scarfed, it can be abused. Like, good players don't lose to my team, in my opinion. I'm talking like World's Day. There's a difference between like a good player and like World's Day 2 every year player, in my opinion. It's that next little upper echelon, right? So Neil's team was Ghost Terra Gyarados with Citrus. It was Specs Flutter. It was Shempao. It was Entei. It was Raging Bolt. And it was Rillaboom, right? So solid Prio spam. I think that Prio spam ended up winning the event from Underhill. This team was very similar. It had a Gyarados over the Dragonite, but Gyarados was like an anti-meta call to check all the other people that were using like, you know, Prio spam. It's good into Entei. It's good into Shempao in some situations. So me and Neil go 3 games. Neil gets me in the first one. He leads Entei Shempao into like Flutter, Chi-Yu stuff, and he just out pivots and out values. He closes out the game with Raging Bolt. And, you know, that's how these are going to go, right? He never really let me do my thing, and he just consistently, like, protected and pivoted correctly, mitigated my damage, mitigated my all-in, like, turn 2 and turn 4 plays, just solid play. In game 2, though, he leads the exact same lead again, and I adapt. I end up he leads Shempao Entei, and I lead Entei Flutter. And the cool thing about that is I'm going to basically get your Shempao for free, because I can just go follow me Dazzling Gleam. You're going to have to go into my Indeedee to take away my terrain, and I basically have to chunk your Entei, break your Shempao Sash, and then I do that twice, and then I bring out, like, Bundle, and, Terrakion, and he wasn't expecting, I think, he wasn't expecting the Terrakion in that game. I think he still expected the Chi-Yu, because Chi-Yu is pretty good into what he's running, and so Terrakion ended up getting a lot of value in game 2 for me, even without the Whims. You just have Terrakion. So I ended up winning game 2. I will say, I think there was a flinch that definitely did matter. But, like, you know, you do what you got to do, right? That being said, Neil, again, upper hand would be good. Now we're playing it with Indeedee, and upper hand, we have quick attack because we want to go for the encore our own rock slide, but quick attack that turn to give ourselves priority boosted rock slide. So I did that like all tournament. It was very, very good. That's how you play Whimsicott. They don't know how the mechanic works, and you just get a free win. So going into game 3. He leads Entei Shempao again. And I lead Terracotta Bundle. And I have Terracotta. I have I said Terracotta Bundle. I lead Whimsicott Bundle, and my last 2 in the back are Indeedee and Terrakion. And I'm going for an all-in play for Terrakion to win the game. My idea is he sees the bundle, he's going to protect the Shempao, he's going to like Sacred Fire or do something to... He also, in the first game, he went for a double into my like Whim Slot or something like that. He went for like the Sucker Punch. He went Ice Spin or E-Speed into my Whims. So what I did was I pivoted out my bundle and I'm losing the speed boost. You don't really need it in the matchup. For Terrakion, I ghost teared my Wims to stop the E-speed. And he does E-speed the Wims to clock Sash, but then he Sacred Swords the bundle slot, which is fair. It would have worked on bundle. And it goes into Terrakion, which I really thought they were going to be protecting that turn or doubling Wims. And so my Terrakion's left at 10. Now, that being said, I still feel like I'm like low-key fine because, remember, I told you my Wims hasn't attacked yet. I side beat up that turn. I side beat up because the plan was to get the side beat up and then protect Terrakion Tailwind, bring in the Indity, and go follow me rock side, rock side, rock side to win the game. Right? That is the flow chart that I'm going for this game. And on the third hit of my beat up, I crit my Terrakion and it dies. And so the fourth beat up finishes me off. The third one crit. And I end up killing my own Terrakion with beat up. I was telling Marcos Moxie Boosted about it. And he's like, dude, don't beat yourself up, you know? But, you know, the idea was to do that and then go for, like I said, protect Tailwind. You lose Wims or not, it doesn't matter. You just bring in the Indity and then you follow me correctly. So in that situation, I'm not saying I would have won, but I will say I had the board state that I wanted if I didn't crit if I didn't kill my own Terrakion. And I still think that Neil had the tools to like outplay. Like it was not over. It's just what I wanted, you know? So it's like, it's just one of those things where I still actually feel like Neil probably could have won. Most likely. Like I feel like if I'm forced to bring on my Indity and you have a Rilla back there still, I think you still win. But like we will never know, right? So Neil ended up getting me, and again, team's not supposed to work against Neil. Going 3 games against Neil and having shots to win, that's an improvement on the last couple times we've played. So, like, again, I'm actually feeling pretty okay. Neil's a great player, good tiebreaker. You know, I still feel like now I'm 3-2, but I fought 3, like, world's level players in a row, and I'm just like, bro, like, what? Why is this? This is, like, one of the hardest regionals I feel I've played, having to go into, like, that much, like, hard matchups. So, we're going to talk about the next couple things. So, I get my bounce back in round 6 to go 4-2. But if I would have beat Neil, I would have been 4-1. That would have been sick. So yeah, this guy watches the channel, and so he told me that at the start of the game. So like I could tell he was going to be a little bit like of a meme. He used Blood Moon Ursaluna, Sylveon, Sableye with like Encore Disable Quash Fake Out. Scarf Urshi Water, Rillaboom, Sin. And so I'm looking at this and I was like, okay, like your only form of speed control is Sableye, and I have Indity. And then like it should just be fine. So in game 1 he leads Sableye Urshaluna, he wants to go for fake outs, he wants to go for Encore Disable Quashes, and just pop things with Blood Moon. And I think I just led Chi-Yu Flutter and just was like, you know what I mean? Like I think game 1 was pretty quick. And then in game 2 actually did get away from me, and he ended up getting that one with a couple of nice protects with his Sylveon. But I don't feel like I was ever threatened, because in game 2 he led Ursa Sylve again, and it's Fire Terra Sylveon, so it's good into Chi-Yu, and it's good into it's good into Chi-Yu, and it's good into Flutter, just because I can't break it. But that means Terrakion's good into it, right? So I actually just like leveraged the fact that like Terrakion. I will also say that Ursaluna did not have Earth Power. It was Protect, Blood Moon, Hyper Voice, Vacuum Wave. So like I just pivot in Terrakion, like I don't ever care. So I can eat your normal attacks easy. Vacuum Wave doesn't do that much, especially if I have terrain up. So it's like I kind of just leveraged Terrakion and just won. But I won in 3. But I felt pretty in control of the match the whole time. Sableye's a bit of a weird match. They probably aren't really expecting like Indity aggression. I think in like against Psy Spam, that's good because you don't need the Sableye for speed control. You just roll them over with AoE. But like Indity on like hyper aggression like this with like Chi-Yu is probably really hard to deal with for their team. So we take the win, and we take those. We are 4-2 at this point. 4-2, killing it, doing our best. So you can see right there, there's my wins, some of the opponents that I played, like, you know, NJ11's still undefeated, Neil's X1, Egrim's winning out, you know, so doing pretty good. We're doing pretty good. Going up into the next round, look at that. Next round, we get the Haxorus win. I'm not using Haxorus, but we're going up against... This is a really weird game because our opponent actually is using Spam. And people are saying, like, I wish Crown would have done better. They have a really cool take on it. They're using Urshi Water Torn, right? Standard, like, Torn Urshi, like Sash Torn, Mystic Water Urshi. Then they have the Psychic Seeds Indeedee, a Scarf Regidrago, and a Booster Iron Crown for special attack with Water Terra Blast. And I'm sure it's a check in Sin, but it ended up being really hard for Chiyu to deal with. And then a Lando Eye. And so, game one, right? Game one, they lead Crown Entity. And I'm trying to remember exactly what happened. I feel like game one got away from me. And I could have won. Right? I feel like game one got away from me and I actually could have won. I don't remember how it went. They brought Crown, Entity, and Urshi Torn. And I think it came down to a situation. Yeah, it came down to a situation where they had Urshi and Crown in like the very back. And I doubled into the Iron Crown. And they just protect baited and beat me with the Urshi. And since it was the Urshi's the tech was on cooldown. And I should have doubled into the Urshi slot. Sacked one of my Mons. And then I would have 1v1 the Crown. So like I actually think I threw game one. And I was like, well, this is my tournament right here. This is the tournament. Because I remember, I don't remember exactly how the game ended, but I remember thinking, like, I threw this game. This is a rough aggression matchup, which is my least favorite matchup to go into. Because, like, even against, like, NJ, who has, like, a balanced matchup into mine, and, like, that's a good matchup for him, I don't like these aggressive ones because it's all, like, trading tailwinds, not necessarily speed ties here, but it's, like, who you basically roll, someone's winning and losing on the first turn of the game, it feels like. So, in these situations, like, I'm sitting back, right? And I'm just, like, thinking, you know, for the last, like, turn of that game, I'm just, like, thinking, like, what do I need to do? I sit back, I look at, like, how high the ceiling is in, like, the venue. I take it all in. And I'm trying not to just, like, be tunneled into, like, the tempo of my opponent. And I kind of, like, step outside the box and think, like, what do I need to do to claw this one back? Because if I lose this one, the tournament's over for me. I won't make day two. And getting, like, back-to-back losses in the middle of the tournament would basically knock me out. I don't think I have the mental fortitude to win, like, 5 in a row, right? And even if I did, like, my 6-3 would be, like, really weak, right? So, and if I lost one more, my 5-4 wouldn't be worth any points, right? So, I have to win out here, right? I have to win out. So, in game two, they lead Crown Entity, and I lead Chiyu Entity into that. And my idea is I can redirect your Water Terra, force the Water Terra, because you have to. Like, I can just Heat Wave you. You have to Water Terra. And then you're Water Terra blasting my Entity, and I'm just trading Dark Pulses into your Entity. And so we're trading our Entities, but then now I've wasted your Terra. And if I waste your Terra and I make you go Water Terra, my Bundle can come in, and then Bundle beats Iron Crown Water Terra, it beats Urshi Water, and it beats Torn, right? That was the idea. And it worked. It worked correctly. So because I won game two like so convincingly with Bundle, and we also realized my Iron Bundle booster outsped their Urshi because I think they're adamant. So very, very like good stuff. Going into game three, because like Chiyu was such a menace in that game, and they actually realized during the middle of that game that like my Chiyu has like no bulk. It's full offense. Like, they hit me with an air slash with Torn and did like 60%. So they realized like they could just pop it. So what they did in game, and I liked that they realized that. Like, I remember seeing the body language and they're like, they hit the Chiyu and they went like, so I realized this was going to trigger a hyper aggressive response, and Chiyu is the thing that they're most afraid of. So they led Drago Torn. Their idea is going to go Choice Scarf, Drago, like, they're going to go Tailwind and Dragon Energy, right? Air slash Torn. Yeah, I mean, people are using it. They just don't want to miss. So anyways, they go, and in this matchup, I lead Flutter Indeedee with the Chiyu in the back, right? So what happens here is kind of weird. So I know that they're going to go Tailwind Draco. That's why I led Flutter. Sorry, I didn't lead Flutter. I led Chiyu. I'm so sorry. I led the Chiyu still. Chiyu's bait to trigger that board. I pivot in the Flutter. They go Tailwind Draco. My idea is to let them Tailwind, right? Pivot in my Flutter. Trick Room with my Imprisoned Entity, and then because they Tailwinded, I just go Dazzle. and it's Dragon Terra Drago, so like I'll win the game. And then like what do they have in the back? They have like an Iron Crown, which I can redirect away the Tachyon Cutter, and then repin with my Chi-Yu. Their Terra's down. They have like an Urshi in the back. It's game. Bro, they crit my freaking Indeedee. And so like the Indeedee goes down, right? The Indeedee goes down. Was this open team sheet? Yeah, it is open team sheet. The Indeedee goes down. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, that's probably the game. So I have a Chi-Yu that's Scarfed, which will be absolutely bodied by the Dragon Energy. And I have Bundle. So I have to then send out my Bundle, protect Dazzling Gleam. And the game plays really weird. It comes down to a situation where I lose the Flutter. Basically, over the next 2 turns, I pivot out my Flutter for my Chi-Yu, and it comes down to a board state where I have Flutter and Chi-Yu. And they have Iron Crown. Yeah, they have Iron Crown, Indeedee, and Torn. So Iron Crown Indeedee is the board with a full HP Sash Torn in the back. Iron Crown Indeedee Torn. And they still have like the speed. They still have 1 more turn of Tailwind. So this is what this guy does. I don't know why he did this. Remember, he already used his Terra on the first turn. I don't know why he did this. I have no idea why. I'm using a Specs Flutter and Chi-Yu that is locked into Heat Wave. So you think he just goes like, follow me, Indeedee, Tachyon Cutter my Flutter, or, you know, because he has Sash Torn in the back, right? But what he does is he goes Helping Hand Indeedee into his Iron Crown and just Terra blasts my Chi-Yu, but he didn't Terra. And so he loses his Indeedee to the Flutter. He does like 50-60% of my Chi-Yu with the Terra Blast. He loses both his Mons. His Tailwind ends, he brings out his Torn, and he loses. Because I just go Heat Wave Dazzle, and I win. And so I'm sitting there thinking, like, if you Tachyon the Flutter, you kill it. You soak the damage from the Chi-Yu. The Indeedee won't die. And then you have an Indeedee plus a Sash Torn, and you already know the Air Slash is a 2-shot. So, like, I don't know what brain fart he had happen, but he threw a win. I lost. No. He messed up. There was no conditioning. Like, I had lost, but I was still just playing it out, you know? The fact that he crit my Indeedee really messed up, like, a lot of it. Like, I just don't know why he didn't Tachyon Cutter. I think he was thinking, like, I have to take out this Chi-Yu. So my Torn come on, but Torn just beats Chi-Yu 1v1 because they're sashed. Yeah. Anyways, because, like, yeah, he could have just, like, that's the thing. Like, you just bring it out and you just go Helping Hand, like, yeah, anyways. Because you would Dazzle that turn. What you would do is you would Tachyon Cutter and Dazzle to do, like, 15-20% of my Chi-Yu, and then you send it your Torn, and you go Helping Hand Air Slash, and you win. Right? That's game, 100%. I can't stop it. You can miss, but, like, we take those. So I won. I did not deserve to win. Did you ask him after? We talked a little bit after. There was a little bit of a language barrier. But, like, I asked him why he didn't, and he was like, oh, yeah. Like, you know. But I won. I take those. We say this all the time on stream, right? We take those. Didn't scoop. Held to my guns. Played long enough to get a misplay, right? That's the thing about these tournaments, right? They're so long. You're playing like 10 hours of Pokemon. If you're not like mentally strong and you're playing a team that's hard to play, you're going to fumble the bag once in a while. And they did. So we took it. Haxor's busted. So that was the game right there. Marcos Castillo. And he was so nice. And he ended up still going 6-3. His team was great. I really like the Water Tower and the Iron Crown. I think I'm going to mess with it for a little bit. These are still some of the other people I'm playing against. Like, you know, NJ11 still undefeated. Neil still X1. Like, just feeling good. You know, great stuff. So we're going into the next round. And this is where I get eliminated from day 2. This guy has Water in Sin, Shimpow Stellar Terra, Urshi with Mystic Water, Rillaboom, Steel Terra Torn Flutter. So more Torn Urshi, which is not like my favorite matchup, especially with Steel Terra Torn. It comes down to a close game 3. And you know what? This is an L. We'll take it, you know. I could have won game 1. I really could have won game 1, and then I convincingly won game 2. But in game three, I hit 8 hydro pumps with my Iron Bundle. Iron Bundle, the unrivaled, hit 8 hydro pumps. I had to go, right after when I went and took a picture of this on the prize wall, because I saw this picture of the bundle there. We hit 8 hydro pumps. And if I missed even one, I lost. And so a loss where you hit 8 hydro pumps, that's a win. You know what I mean? Like, I should have been blown the hell out. But the fact that I kept hitting that many kept me in the game. So like, it should have just been a loss. And so it's weird. I'm now at 5-3, but like, bro, I'm not gonna lie. And the game it took so long. I'm feeling it. Like, I'm feeling pumped, and I'm feeling just like I'm like $1 million. I just hit 8 hydro pumps. I'm king of the world, and I'm feeling it. And so I know for a fact that I have good tiebreakers. Like we said, NJ11 was still undefeated. Neil was X1. Enrique was X2. The guy I just beat in the last round won as well. So like, I have great tiebreakers. There's a good chance I actually end up getting top 64 if I win my next round. And so we go into the next round. I want to show you guys their team sheet for my last round of the tournament. This is the hardest game of the tournament because this is when your fatigue is at its highest level. And you have to play against this. You have to play against this. I'm gonna make it bigger so you guys can just see it a little bit. Make it a little bit bigger so you guys can see just what, this is what a team sheet looks like. Look at that. Look at that. Your fatigue, your stress levels, everything about Pokemon is at its all-time like fever pitch moment. It's all on the line. And you're fighting Power of Alchemy Muk next to Moody Smeargle and like 3 Psych-Up users with the Flamigo. And like, when the guy sat down, everyone was like, oh, it's a Muk guy, it's a Smeargle guy. And everyone was like, I'm so glad I didn't get him. And I'm sitting here thinking like, don't tell him my team. I can just treat him like he's a normal person. Just don't do anything. So you can see his team right there is like the Flamigo, the Muk. What they like to do is go Smeargle, Muk. You click follow me, and then the Smeargle dies, and it gives Muk Moody, and then Muk minimizes that turn. So you get a Moody boost. You get Moody as an ability. You get minimize that turn, and then you bring out like other mons, and you click Psych Up. Right. So what I did against that. I don't know if you guys saw my my team, but I got one of those little Pokemon. This is a pretty good Pokemon. It's called Terrakion. Terakion's a pretty good move. I don't know if you heard of it. I don't know if you've heard of it, but like, it's called Sacred Sword, and yeah, Sacred Sword's a pretty nice little move. Sacred Sword. Yeah, it says user attacks by slicing with a sword. The target's stat changes don't affect the damage inflicted by this move. So, you know those minimize boosts? Yeah, Sacred Sword goes through that. You know those Moody boosts? Yeah, Sacred Sword kind of just goes through that. So, the only damage I took this whole set where I closed it out 2-0 was me leading my Wims Terrakion and just side beat-upping myself. I went side beat-up. Oh, sorry, against the Smeargle, Muk, I go Moonblast, Sacred Sword into the Smeargle. They get the Moody, they get the Minimize. Then they bring out another Mon. I go side beat up, kill the Muk. Side beat up, like just kill, win the game. Easy peasy. Nothing the team can do about it. It's an auto loss match for my opponent. They don't even get to play the game against the Terrakion Whimsicott. So, hey, and you know what? You know what? That's why my team is the call for these sort of tournaments. Instead of a team that can beat NJ11, can beat Neil, my team says teams like this, they don't even get to play the game, bro. Like, you gotta be this tall to ride? I set the bar far too high. And guy was also really nice. And the team is made perfectly. They didn't do anything wrong. It's just like, it's an auto loss. They don't even get to play it. Terrakion just has it. They also talked about like Blood Moon Ursaluna being able to go through the, with Mind's Eye. Going through Muk makes it too hard. So, it's just an L for them. We end up going 6-3. I get my match slip. Take a picture right there. So, go 6-3. This is my record for the day. So I go 2 wins, loss, 1 win, 1 loss, double win, loss with a win to close it out. No, that team's good. Their team was fine. They were doing good, you know. The team works. There's so many teams that like a meme team like that like can't lose to. right? Yeah, Sacred Sword is nuts, right? Sacred Sword is nuts. So, you know, we take those. I ended up placing right here 86th out of over 500 players with 6-3. The whole goal was to make points, and we did it. The whole goal was to make points. We did it. It works. Glad to see you in person. Happy to see you. I had a great time. Just got my points. I have about 178 points for my Worlds invite, and everything's on track. Looking forward to going to Charlotte. I was featured on the main stream from my Instagram. I asked like what plush I brought. You guys saw I brought the Haxorus. I took this picture and posted on Instagram a couple days before the event. And then, you know, another person that I met there, also, like, I was featured in the main stream, like, in between rounds, stuff like that. So it was cool. Like, you know, like I said, the whole point of me going to these tournaments isn't to play Pokemon. The whole point is to go to meet people, to show people that, like, content creators and people that play the game, like, in fun ways like we do can still keep up, you know, and, like, just show that the people that you guys like watching are real people. You know, we play the game just like everybody else, and it was fun. I had a good time, and my team was cracked, so yeah. My team was good, I had a good time, and I really like meeting everyone at the events. So thank you guys for, you know, giving me a platform and, you know, allowing me to, you know, like we just got a bunch of subs today, like allowing me to comfortably go to these things.